Well, it's time to mow some food plots, and I ain't got a working bush hog, so we're gonna use a lawnmower. We're all mowed down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the deck as low as it can go to try to get that last little bit cut down. Final shape is finished. We're done mowing here for tonight. I dropped the deck, mowed it down as short as I can possibly get it with the lawnmower. Tomorrow morning, I got a meeting with a food plot seed company, hoping to work something out where we can test out and try out some products. We're gonna hopefully try that out here. Believe it or not, this was a clover plot last year. Still some clover in here, but I realized you can't really plant clover in the really shaded area like this. So we're putting in a brassicas mixture. I partnered with Ridgeline Seed here this fall. We're gonna do a bunch of experimenting and try out a bunch of their products. They were very gracious in sending me a bunch of stuff to test and try out. If you wanna check them out, check out huntingplots.com. They got a whole bunch of different stuff there. Their big thing is regenerative ag, and that's kind of something that I've focused on as well, because I personally don't have a sprayer and I don't feel like spending all the money on chemicals and stuff to spray my plots. Now, clover is one thing, it can be kind of tricky, but as far as these fall plots, when your weed pressure is a lot lower, regenerative ag is kind of a really good route to go, at least in my opinion. The soil building qualities and the forage quality of these seeds is really cool. So we're gonna test them out here this fall, see how they work. Excuse me, all the bugs and everything. My whole goal with this plot is to really just make it a sanctuary plot specifically for those bucks that are really tired out in late season. Here's why I'm thinking that. That little patch of woods right there and kind of past that is the central point of bedding in this huge circle of food. We got our big food plot over there. We've got a big alfalfa field over there, and we've got a bean field, actually currently alfalfa with beans growing in it, but it will be a harvested soybean field here this fall. And then we've got this little sanctuary plot. So right in there is that center bedding area. Last fall, actually it was in December, before late season, I came walking down to pull the camera card over there by the bigger plot, and I kicked up a 130-inch buck that was bedded about 20 yards from me. He ran across the creek, ran up over the hill and whatnot. So my thing with this plot is to kind of make it a sanctuary plot. I'm talking like a plot for one deer. So if there's a mature buck that's bedding kind of in that area, which there often is, this little sanctuary plot is going to be a place for him to feel safe and secluded. And what I want to do, get this to be a good little brassicas plot in here for late season, or even, you know, end of the rut, and then set up a tree stand or even a ground blind, or put up a saddle just on the edge of the tree line over there up against the bean field. It's gonna be super easy to walk right down from the house. It's about a 30-40 yard walk literally, and if I hunt the north wind or even an east wind, I'll be able to sneak down in here quietly, set up over this plot and watch that bedding. And there's a chance that if there's any place that he's probably going to hit in daylight, it's going to be this little sanctuary plot. It's 7 o'clock on a Monday night, so what better thing to do than to go disc some food plots. This is going to be a nice plot. I tell you what, I am excited about this plot. Whew. Plot starts down there by the lock-on stand where I shot my buck and my doe last year. It's narrow, stretches down through here, goes down there, and then cuts up, does some wonky stuff up there. But this is a nice plot. We are planting 5-Star Rage by Ridgeline Seeds. It's a brassicas forage and clover mixture. Goes up and around the bend, comes down, goes in there, comes around and goes back in there and down all the way down through there. This plot here was the clover plot we did last spring. So this ground worked up really easy. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of residue that we needed to manage here, maybe a little bit of sod, but it turned over pretty easy. We come out over in here. This section right here was never in a food plot ever. And it worked up all right actually, but it took some coaxing. This over here used to be a food plot. We used to have a food plot right here. So it actually sits a little lower. It had a lot of that grass in it. So there's a lot of this stuff that has to get chopped up yet. Down there worked up good because that was our brassica plot last fall. It worked up pretty well. What we're gonna do actually is in a couple weeks, when we come back to plant it, we're gonna hit it again with the disc and then a drag harrow. What we're trying to do is knock back some of the weeds. So it's fall time, there's not a lot of weed pressure, that's the big thing. And we're not using any herbicides or any sort of spraying. So we came down, knocked everything down, turned the soil over. And then any weed seeds or volunteer seeds that are in the soil here, we're gonna actually let them germinate. And then in a couple weeks, we're gonna come back, hit it with the disc lightly to knock out those weeds. And then pretty much, we're not really gonna have any weed pressure. We're gonna broadcast the stuff on, drag it in, let Mother Nature do its thing.